Welcome to the day 2 session on APM and Java training. Today we are going to talk about the concept of operators. So yesterday we wrote few basic programs. We understood the concept of data types. So today we are going to use them with something called as operators, and we are going to have a look at numerical operators and Boolean operators. And after that we are going to talk about the conditional statements and the looping statements. So let us first talk about the numeric operators. The numeric operators are your addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and the remainder operators. These operators basically work on the number data type. Addition is supposed to add two numbers. Subtraction will remove a number from the another. Multiplication will provide us with the product. Division is going to provide us with the dividend question, and remainder is basically going to provide us with what remains after the division process is over. So these are our number operators or numeric operators, and these basically have helped us since the basic kindergarten days. So let us have a look at a very small program. So in this program, we create a scanner object and we ask the user to provide us with two numbers, and we basically store them as double. So we need to understand in here that once we have created a scanner object, when we are trying to read it, if we just use next, this will read the object, or let me use the word data as string. xyz.next int will basically read the object or data as integer, and double I have told you. So xyz.next, where xyz is a scanner object, will read the data as string itself. Next double and next integer will effectively convert the string value to the double and integer respectively. So we have read the value and we have converted into a double. Then the first thing we are doing is we are using the addition operator to add two numbers. Then we are subtracting a number from the another. Then we are multiplying them together, dividing, and picking out the remainder operator function. So let us take to some basic numbers. Let's say I have taken number 10 and 2. So addition is 12, subtraction is 8, multiplication is 20, division is 5, and remainder is 0. So when you divide 10 by 2, nothing is remaining. This should be clear. Pretty simple program. Okay. The next is the shortcut assignment operator. The purpose of the shortcut assignment operator is to perform the operation and update the original variable with it. For example, if I say I is equal to 1 and I say I plus equal to 10, it will basically be I is equal to I plus 10. So I would become 11. So this is a shortcut assignment operator. Plus equal to, minus equal to, multiply equal to, divide equal to, remainder equal to. The purpose of the shortcut assignment operator is to basically perform the operation and update the original variable itself. So you have got these plus equal to, minus equal to, multiply equal to, divide equal to, and mod equal to. When expanded, this is how they look like. Make sense? These are known as shortcut assignment operators. We'll see an exercise over it. So if I is 9 and f is 9.9, I is 9, f is I dot 9. We say I plus equal to 6. What would be the value of I? We say I plus equal to 6. What would be the value of I? 15. Very good. So I will be printed as 15. The next is I should be multiplied equal to 6. I should be multiplied equal to 6. What would be the value? No, 36 is the wrong answer. What is your latest value of I? Remember, I has been updated as per the previous shortcut assignment operator. So I is no longer 9. I has become 15. So 6 into 15. So I would become now 90. Then the next is I minus equal to 10. What would be the value of I? 80. That's the correct answer. Similarly, you can perform the operations on the double integer. F minus equal to 6.0. F is 9.9. So F becomes 3.9. Then F divide equal to 3 by 6. So it would be basically F is equal to 3.9 divided by 6. Whatever the value is. Okay, somewhere around 0.066 or something. So this is the output which we get when we perform the operations on the shortcut assignment operators. We need to understand that the behavior of these operators is to basically perform the function and update the value itself. Okay. Is this clear to all of you? Okay. Then let us have a look at the next set of operators. The next set of operators are our increment and decrement operators. So you have got pre-increment, post-increment, pre-decrement and post-decrement operators. So the first is pre-increment operator. Plus A. Let us say A is 5. B is equal to plus A. What does that mean? Increment means first increase, then assign. So first increase, then assign. So in here, A would become 6, then B would become 6. This is pre-increment operator. Then you have got post-increment operator. Post-increment is A++. First assign, then increase. First assign, then increase. So if A is become 5, B is equal to A++. B would become 5, A would become 6. So first assign, then increase is post-increment operator. Then the next is pre-decrement operator. In the pre-decrement operator, you basically have minus A. So this is first decrease, then assign. So if A is equal to 5 and B is equal to minus A would become 4, then B would become 4. This is how it behaves. And then you have got the post-decrement operator. A minus minus, if A is 5, B is equal to A minus minus, B would become 5, A would become 4. First assign, then decrease. So this is the behavior of post decrement operator. So what we have seen is pre-increment, post-increment, pre-decrement and post-decrement. Is this all clear to you guys? Okay. Then we have got comparison operators. Comparison operators work on the number data type, and the output of this comparison operator is a Boolean value. That is, you get either true or false. So you have less than, equal to, greater than, equal to, and not equal to. So the purpose of comparison operators is to basically perform the operation and produce an output which is a Boolean value. So the output is either true or false when the comparison operators are used. So let us say A is 10 and B is minus 10. A greater than B is true or false? True. A less than B is true or false? A equal to B is? A not equal to B is? A greater than equal to B is? A less than equal to B is? False. So if A is 10, B is minus 10, and if we use these comparison operators, these are the output which we will get on the screen once they work. Okay. So for example, let us try it. We'll keep it simple. So this is how the output which you will getting. Okay. So depending upon the operator, either we will get true or we will get false for the comparison operator behavior. Is this clear to all of you? So we'll take a small assignment right now, for which you will have to use two functions. So write down a program which asks user for a string and then use the parseInt function and parseDouble function to convert it into an integer and a double value respectively. So ask user for two numbers. Use the parseInt and parseDouble function to convert the string entered. Okay. So write down, try it out on your end. You can do a Google search. I expect you to do a Google search for parseInt and parseDouble function. So in here, when the user will be providing the value, to read it from the keyboard, you will be just using the next function, neither nextInt nor nextDouble, because I want you guys to try out the parseInt and parseDouble function to convert the red string into either an integer or a double value. So please attempt it at your end and share your answers. you guys able to work with it? Were you able to find out? Can you share your answers, please? Okay, Numan. Very good, Nadia. Good answer. So, integer dot parseInt and double dot parse double are basically the functions which you will be using. Okay, the functions which you will be using to convert string into integer and convert string into a double value. Great, good stuff. Okay, cool. Now let us have a look at another program. Sorry, let us have a look at another concept where we are going to basically use the Boolean operator. So Boolean operator works with Boolean variables, and Boolean variables primarily hold values of true and false only. So let us have a look at these operators. So the Boolean operators are the OR operator, the AND operator, the XOR operator, and the NOT operator. Let us first see the OR operator. A, B, A or B. If A is true, B is true, A or B is true. If A is false, B is true, A or B is still true. If A is true, B is false, A or B is still true. If A is false, B is false, then it is false. This is how the OR operator functions. Then you have got the AND operator. The AND operator behavior is like this. If A is true, B is true, and in B is true. If A is false, B is true, this is false. If this is true, this is false, this is again false. If both of them are false, it is false also. So the purpose of the AND operator is that only and only if both A and B would be true, the output would be true, otherwise it would be false. Then you have got the XOR operator. The XOR operator is represented with the caret symbol. You have A, B, A, XOR B. If A is true, B is true, A XOR B is false. If A is false, B is true, it's true. If this is true, this is false, this is true again. If this is false, this is false, this is false. So this is your XOR operator. It returns true only if one of the flag is opposite to that of another. And then you have got the NOT operator. So you have got if A is true, not A is false. If A is false, not A is true. So these are our Boolean operators. Boolean operators are generally used in situations where we are trying to evaluate more than one condition. For example, let us take a question. We create is 2 greater than 3 and 4 less than 5. If this is our condition, how will we get our output? Is 2 greater than 3? We get false. And 4 less than 5, true. What would be the output? False. Right? So this is how the Boolean operator is working. Similarly, let's try another condition. Let's say 8 less than minus 8 or 9 greater than 0. In here, is 8 less than minus 8? False. Is 9 greater than 0? True. So the output would be true. So this is how the Boolean operator is working. It is allowing us to concatenate more than one condition so as to provide us with the output. Generally, Boolean operators are used in decision-making statements. Is this clear to you guys? So I'm giving you guys a question. Tell me the Boolean condition which you guys will create. So I just want the condition you are going to create. Ask user for a number. Find if the number is even and also divisible by 6. If this is the question I am giving you, what would be the condition you will create? I just want the Boolean condition to be created and shared. So go ahead and do it, please. answer is correct. But a small suggestion, every expression should be within their own brackets. And Inuman, your answer is not correct. We in here use the remainder operator. Because what we have to find whether the number is even. So n mod 2 should be equal to 0 and n mod 6 should also be equal to 0. Okay, this is how you should solve this particular problem. So each of the expressions should also be within their own brackets. And we do not use the division operator because we are wanting that they should be divisible. And we use the AND operator because it is a forced expression that both the conditions should be true. So this was one example of using the Boolean operators. Any questions in here about the concept of operators which we have seen so far? Anything which was not clear to you guys? Clear? Okay. So we are now going to talk about the concept of a condition statement, which is basically if. There are different types of if statements which we can create. The first is a simple if. If condition statement to be executed if true. So this statement will get executed if the output of the condition is true. Then you have got the if else block. So you have got if condition statement else statement. So this is your if else block. So if the condition output is true, the code of the if block will get executed. If the condition output is false, it will go on to the else and execute it. That's the if else block. Then you have got the multiple conditions. So it is if, else if, else if, else block. So here you have got if, let's say condition 1. Then you try another condition, else if, condition 2. So whichever condition produces the output as true, that will get evaluated. If none of the condition provides the output as true, it will finally go to the else block of code. So this is the multiple if else block. So in here, you basically have multiple conditions created, if condition 1, else if condition 2, else if condition 3, and finally in else block. So this is your multiple if else conditions. Then the last you have got the nested if block. Here you have got something called as a main condition. Inside it you can have another if with a sub condition, inside which you can further have another if with a sub condition, and this can go on, where each of the ifs have their own else, or they can have their own else if also. That's not a problem for us. We have to be just in here careful which if, which else belong to which if. So here is a nested if block where you have got a main condition and then you have got further sub conditions inside the main block of code. So we'll see some examples for it. So let us say write down a program which asks user for input and print and finds if the number is divisible by 7. Simple. So if we have to try out this program, how will we do it? So you can go ahead and create the scanner class. Then you say int num is equal to scan dot next int, where you have asked the user to enter a number. And then you simply say if num mod 7 is equal to 0, you want to print number. Simple, right? This is how your code would look like. So this is an example of a simple if. Is this clear? Now let us try another example for the if else block. Ask user to provide two numbers, print the greatest. So we simply say if num1 is greater than num2, print num1, else print num2, right? So this is an example where your if else block of code would be used. For example, let's say in here we are trying to find the greatest of the two. We ask the user by importing scanner class to provide us with two numbers. We read them as integers. We simply run our condition using the comparison operator. If A is greater than B, print A is greater, else print B is greater. Okay? If A is greater than B, print A is greater, else print B is greater. So let's run this program. You ask the user to enter number, let's say 10 and 12. It prints B is greater. So this is an example of a if-else block of code. Is this clear? Let's take a question in here now, which you guys will solve. Ask user to enter a number, find whether it is even or odd. Simple question, please attempt it now. And once you are done, share the answer with me. So I'm asking you to write down a program which asks user to enter a number and find out whether it is even or odd. Please do it. Inuman, are you also done trying? Okay. Let us try another question now, and this time it would be for the multiple if else condition. So we have to find the grade a student has earned based on the marks secured. If the student has secured marks between 81 to 100, the grade is A. If between 61 to 80, the grade is B. If between 41 to 60, the grade is C. If between 0 to 40, the grade is fail. If it is less than 0 or greater than 100, you basically say it's an invalid entry. So we have to find the grade which is associated with the student based on the marks they have secured. So if between 81 to 100, A, and so on and so forth. So in here, if you look at the program carefully, you will have something like this. If marks is greater than 80 and marks is less than equal to 100, you say print grade A. Then you say else if marks is greater than 60 and marks is less than equal to 80. Then you would like to say print B, and so on and so forth. This is how you will solve this particular question at hand. So if you look at the program, this is how the code looks like. You can see that for each of the if condition, there are two conditions being evaluated, and between these two conditions there is a Boolean operator being used. Any of the conditions can return a true, and whichever returns a true, for that particular block of code, the statement will get executed. For example, enter marks, I say 76, I get grade B. Enter marks, I say 8, I get fail. Enter marks, I say minus 100, I get invalid marks. So that is my last block. That if none of the above conditions meet the marks, then we basically print invalid marks. Is this program clear to you guys? Have a look at it. If you have any questions, let me know. Clear? Okay. Now let's try a question for the last type of situation, which is the nested if. For the following table, based on the income and gender, find the tax an individual has to pay. So we say if gender is male and the income lies in between 0 to 50,000, the tax is 0%. If it lies between 2 to 1, the tax is 10%. If it lies between 1 to 3 million, the tax is 15%. And if it is greater than 3, then the tax is 25%. Based on the same model but gender being female, the tax is 7, 12 and 19% respectively. So if this is the question we have to solve, there are two things which you will ask the user. You will ask the user to enter the gender. You can right now take gender 0 as male and 1 as female. And then you are going to ask the user for the income to be provided. Based upon these two information, you would like to create your condition. So you say if gender equals 0, that means the person is a male. Inside it you will have multiple if else. If income is greater than equal to 0 and income is less than equal to you would say the tax to be calculated is as 0%. Similarly, there will be another else if. Here it will be else if gender equal to 1. Inside it will be their own if else if. Else you can simply say invalid gender. So do you see that you are trying to create a main condition and inside it you are trying to provide the multiple if else block, which is effectively the subcondition. So this is how you are going to solve this particular problem. Does it make sense? So this you will have to do as assignment. So once we finish the concepts which we discussed today, I am going to give you guys some assignment problems. This will be one of the questions. So you know now enough syntaxes and operators to basically complete this, I believe. So what we are going to do is now we are going to take a short break of 5 minutes. And after the break, we will resume the session where we are going to talk about the switch statement. And if time permits, we will also talk about the looping statements as well. So I'll see you guys in next 5 minutes. And we are going on break right now. Thank you. Okay, resuming the session. I hope you guys are back after the break. Great. So we are now going to talk about the switch statement. The switch statement is generally used in situations where you are going to use multiple if-else block of code, and generally when the conditions are like clearly defined. So at that situation you use a switch statement. So the syntax is you say switch and then you have an expression. The expression basically produces a value which is then used in the cases. For example, case value 1, you will have some statement to execute and then you have got a keyword called as break. The purpose of the break keyword is to exit the loop. Break. And so on and so forth. Finally, you have got a default. So if none of the cases value matches, then it is going to execute something in the default. Break basically exits the condition or the loop. So let us see an example of a switch statement. In this particular program, we have to effectively enter our marital status. Based on our marital status, our tax will be calculated for an income. So what we ask from the user is to enter your category. Whether you are single, then you enter 0, married, separated or a widower, and your income. Then we say switch category. If the category provided is 0, the tax to be calculated is as 10%. If the category provided is married, the tax to be calculated is at 5%. If the category provided is separated, the tax to be calculated as 15%. And for widower, the tax is to be calculated at 2%. If none of the match are found, then the default simply say match not found, either enter 0, 1, 2 or 3. So let us say here we are going to ask the user for their marital status. So this is the tax calculated. Let us say I enter 4. We say match not found. So have a look at this program. Try to understand the syntax and the implementation. And if you have any question, let me know. Any questions in here? Understood? Okay. So this is an example of a switch statement. And generally switch statements are used in situation when we have got multiple situations or conditions available and they are clearly defined. Now we are going to talk about the loop statements. The purpose of the loop statement is to allow execution of the same steps for a number of repetitions until a condition is met. So, the looping statement allows the execution of the same step of code for a number of repetitions until a condition is met. For example, I want to find out all even numbers between 1 to 100. So would you write the if condition as in if 1 mod 2 0, if else if 2 mod 2 0, else if 3 mod 2 0? We won't do that, right? We are going to basically create a loop. So for example, this is how we do. So we say, let's say int num is equal to 0. We say while num is less than equal to 100, if num mod 2 is equal to 0, print num is equal to num plus 1. So inside the while loop, we are checking our condition and we are increasing the value of number. So for this program, with the help of the loop, we reduced the number of lines of code which we had to write because our condition or the set of statements to evaluate for every number is same. That is, we want it to be divisible by 2, and if it is completely divisible, it's an even number, otherwise it is not. So the same condition has to be tested for different data points which we generate within a loop. So this is an example of a while loop. You have got while condition, set of statements to be executed, that's it. And this will execute until the condition is true. The minute the number becomes greater than 100, that means it takes the value of 101. This is going to exit the while loop. Is this clear? The usage of a while loop. Okay. Now the same we can implement it using the for loop. In the for loop, the syntax is like this: for initialization condition, loop continuation, increment or decrement. For int I equal to 0, I less than 100, I plus plus. If I mod 2 equal to 0, print I. So the same statement we have written using the for loop. So in here the number of lines of code written are little less because inside the same bracket you write down the initialization condition, loop continuation condition and the increment or decrement. And then you have got a set of statement to be executed for different values I is going to take. And this will exit the for loop once I becomes greater than 100. Clear? So you can basically run a for loop or a while loop in a ascending order or in a descending order depending upon the iteration you have generated. Let us see an example. So this is an example of a while loop. In here we have to print all the numbers which are divisible by 2 between 1 to 10. and we have to print them in the order of ascending. Then in the order of descending, we have to print the numbers between 10 to 1, which are all odd numbers. So between 1 to 10 even numbers, between 10 to 1 odd numbers. So how would you write it? So you say I is 1, then you print even number. You say while I is less than 10, if I mod 2 is 0, you want to print I and you increment I. Similarly, in odd number, you say j as 10, while j is 1, greater than 1. If j mod 2 is not 0, print j is equal to j minus 1. Here you are decreasing j, here you are increasing I. This works in descending order, this while loop works in the ascending order. So this is the output which you will see, even numbers and odd numbers. The operators are opposite of each other and so is the loop. This is in the ascending, I is less than 10, this is j is greater than or equal to 1. Here we are incrementing I, here we are decrementing j. Have a look at this code. If you have any question, please ask me. Any questions? Okay. Now the same question, let's try in the for loop. In here, we are asking the user for an start range and an end range. So we ask the user to provide us with a start range and an end range. We read them. We run our for loop for I is equal to start range, I less than end range, I plus plus. That means we are trying to print the number calculation in the ascending order. We say if I mod 2 is equal to 0, print I. The opposite of it would be for I is equal to end range, I is greater than start range and I minus minus. This starts the I in the descending order. If I mod 2 is not equal to 0, then print I. So the same question is implemented using the for loop. They are printing the even numbers in the ascending order and odd numbers in the descending order. Clear? Have a look at this program. These are the two for loops which we have created. So if you have any questions about this for loop implementation or the while loop implementation of this program, please let me know. Clear? Okay, cool. So with this, we come to the end of the discussion for today's session. We will take a few assignment problems now, because what we need to understand in here is that what we have covered today helps us with the basic logic building exercises. Okay. So whatever we have covered today will help you write down some good programs with some good logical, basically will be testing your logical ability in here. So your first question is, ask user for 3 numbers, print the smallest. Second question is, write down a program which prints factorial of a number provided by the end user. So n factorial is n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 and so on till you get 1. For example, 5 factorial is 5 into 4 into. Third question is, write down a program which prints the Fibonacci series from 1 to 100, from 0 to 100. So in Fibonacci series, the first 2 numbers are provided. 0 and 1 are available by default. The next number in the series is sum of the previous 2 numbers. The next number in the series is sum of the previous 2 numbers. 0 and 1 are available by default. The next number in the series is the sum of previous 2 numbers. This is your Fibonacci series. Then your fourth question you guys have to do is the assignment problem which I gave you in the notes. And last question is, ask user for a start range and an end range. Print all prime numbers between them. So you have to write down a program where user is asked a start range and an end range, and basically in between these 2 ranges, these 2 entries, you print all the prime numbers. A number is prime if it is only divisible by itself and 1. Okay. So a number is prime if it is divisible only by itself and 1. So these are your assignment problems. The idea is that you practice these questions, you get into a habit of writing down readable programs, you declare variables which are meaningful in nature, and you are able to solve them. So before you attempt these programs, first write down the pseudocode. Once your pseudocode is clear, then only attempt it, and try to write a detailed pseudocode. Okay? So that every statement of your pseudocode is a statement in the program. Make sense? So how was today's session? Was the pace okay? Were you comfortable during the session? Okay, at any point, if there is anything you feel that this has to be improved, please feel free to let me know, because we need to understand that our only objective is that you guys are able to meet your objective of learning APM with Java and perform on it as well. Yes, you will have to do practice. So it would be advisable that you are able to share the assignments with me before we meet next week, if possible, so that I can evaluate it and get back to you with my feedback. Another suggestion is, as you are going to solve these problems, don't forget to share the pseudocode which you guys generate, and also try to add comments in your program. So if there is a section of the code which looks a little complicated, try to add a single English line statement comment trying to explain your logic. Because even when you look at your program after a while, you should be able to understand it, or why is this statement written the way it is written. Okay. So keep your material safe, whatever I am sharing with you, the exercises, the notes. Ensure you have created an account in your, if you would like to store it on a cloud account, or if you are storing it in your desktops, wherever, create a folder location and keep all the material, links, exercises, notes, assignments safe, so that even after the sessions are over, you are able to refer to it and revise it as per the time availability with you. Okay. So thank you so much for your time today. In a short while, I'll be sharing all the materials with you. So I will see you guys next week. I'll be sending the meeting invite by Thursday or Friday for you guys to join. So thanks. See you guys next week. Take care. Have a happy day. Bye everyone.